I slipped through the rusted chain-link fence of Fort Meade, my heavy camera bag digging into my shoulder as I hunted for the kind of decay only concrete can hide. I'm Julian, 29, and I've spent my career shooting abandoned monoliths. But the air inside this coastal battery didn't just feel cold, it felt petrified. The fort had rotted on this cliffside since World War II. Down the Subterranean Ramp, the smell of wet battery acid and 80 years of stagnant sea salt hit me instantly, burning the back of my throat. I set up my tripod in the first arched corridor, the distant surf thudding like a heavy pulse beneath the concrete floor. The stillness down here was absolute, almost heavy. I clicked on my high-lumen tactical light, slicing the blackness into stark, sharp angles against the concrete columns. I smiled, imagining how the stark white beam would look on film. I reached into my pocket for a spare lens cap, but my silver-plated pocket watch, the heirloom with the cracked glass face, slipped out, skittering into the dark shadow behind a massive support pillar. I reached into the shadow of the pillar to grab it, but my fingers slammed against a cold, vertical plane of absolute nothing. It was like striking solid glass where empty air should have been. I pulled my hand back, frowning, and aimed the flashlight directly at the empty floor behind the pillar. There was no obstacle, just the bare, damp concrete. I reached out again, slow and cautious. My fingertips pressed flat against the darkness. The shadow felt like a slab of solid, polished obsidian, but colder than an Arctic trench. A freezing, absolute temperature that numbed my skin instantly. I ran my thumb along the line where the flashlight beam met the shadow. The boundary was microscopically sharp. It sliced a neat, clean, bloodless line across my skin. I panicked, gasping. I tried to tell myself it was carbon monoxide, a hallucination from some pockets of gas trapped in the old bunkers. I swung the light around, searching for the entrance. As the beam swept, the long shadows of the iron railings froze mid-swing, hardening into thick, absolute black plates that blocked the corridor behind me like iron blast doors. A crystalline hum vibrated through my teeth, the sound of air freezing under pressure. The corridor's temperature plunged instantly, and my breath billowed in thick gray plumes. I clicked the flashlight switch off, but blackness dropped on me like a lead weight, absolute and heavy. I stood frozen, waiting for my pupils to dilate, but the dark was too dense. In the silence, a dry, scraping drag echoed from the deep tunnel. A heavy, solid mass was sliding slowly across the floor toward me. I panicked and clicked the light back on. The sudden beam struck a pile of collapsed ceiling tiles. Their jagged shadow instantly solidified into an interlocking wall, completely sealing off my only path forward. The old Gatekeeper's warning from earlier mocked me. Some places don't want their dark corners illuminated, Julian. My own light was building my casket. I was standing in a 3-foot wide lane of light. On both sides, the solid, frozen shadows of the pillars hemmed me in, and directly behind me lay my own shadow. If I turned around, the flashlight would cast my own body's silhouette in front of me, instantly solidifying it and crushing me against the front wall.